Okay. We started with an introduction of Muktzah last week. So let's talk today about probably a couple of Muktzahs each time, but at least let's do Kli Shemlach B'Litzer. I'll send a sheet after the shear. Sorry, it's not up now, but you'll have all the Marmkomos in a sheet afterwards. Kli Shemlach B'Litzer. So the Shulchan Aruch askins that there are two types of kalim. There's Kli Shemlach B'Leheter, a utensil that's usually used for something that's mutter, and Kli Shemlach B'Lisser, something that is, we'll get to it, is used for an isser. Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Shin Ches, Kli Shemlach B'Leheter, mutter l'taltalo, afilu eino l'tzorach, a Kli Shemishav Yigane. A Kli Shemlach B'Leheter, which we'll see, is a spoon, is a fork, is a cup. You can move that for no reason at all. If you're daydreaming, you just happen to move a paper clip, move a cup. Say you're just playing with a spoon in your hand. That's no problem on Shabbos. As a Kli Shemlach B'Leheter, you can do whatever you want with that. Even if it's moving it for the item itself. Let's say you have a fancy glass that's outside, and you're only going outside to bring it in because you don't want it to be stolen. That's called for the item itself. So that's also mutter for a Kli Shemlach B'Leheter. That's all good. Kli Shemlach B'Lisser, so a kli that's usually used for an isser, even though it's a kli and it's usable, but it is, let's say it in quotes for now, it is in the world of muktzah in quotes, as you'll see why soon, and therefore there are limitations of the movement. What limitations? If I'm moving it to protect itself, what's called in the poskim mechamal etzel, from the sun to shade, meaning it's going to get ruined in the sun. I'm going to move it in order to put it in the shade. That's not allowed by a Kli Shemalachto Le'isser. Good. If I'm only doing it for no other purpose except for its protection. Or Shalol Tzar Klal. I'm not doing it for any purpose. I'm also not allowed to use it, which is unusual. If I'm moving it, doesn't that mean I have a purpose? What does it mean, Shalol Tzar Klal? For no purpose, you're not allowed to move it. If you're moving it for a purpose. The Aruch HaShulchan wonders that. In a move on, obviously you're moving it for a reason. So how do you even call something shalol l'tzarach klal? Tzarach lo amar could go into eino elakim mitzasek ba'alma. What if you're daydreaming? Ve'eno shum kavana b'toltulo. Well, you're just you're not thinking. So that's when you're not allowed to move it. If you get any type of enjoyment, so then that's already called, an allowed movement, as we will see, and it would be mutter. What if somebody has a tension ball? A tension ball is a Kli Shemlach B'Leheter. But let's say somebody, I remember there was a guy when I was in yeshiva. He always had a pen in his hands. Can you see this? And he used to go around like this, right? And like content, like you put it. So what about on Shabbos? Right, exactly what Eli's doing right now. So what about on Shabbos? So if somebody really needs that in order to stay calm, in order to be able to, be functional, so then says the postscript that also could be a kula, a movement that is called good for you. Okay, so what is the definition of a Kli Shemlach B'Lisser? And then we'll get to the halachas regarding it. The definition of a Kli Shemlach B'Lisser is a Kli whose primary purpose is forbidden on Shabbos. A Kli whose primary purpose is forbidden on Shabbos. That is the definition. The Mishnah Berurah writes in Sifkat and Yud, Omar, Shem Yuchedes L'Davar She'asur Lasos B'Shabbos. It's designated for something that's generally asur, even if it has some mutter purposes. If it's majority, Rov Malachto L'Isser, that is called a Kli Shemalachto L'Isser. Even if it's only an Isser D'Rabbanan. Even if the Isser would only be an Isser D'Rabbanan, it's still called a Kli Shemalachto L'Isser. And even if, let's say, it's not even a direct purpose, it just services an Isser. What about, I don't know, you don't have these days, a telephone book. In the olden days, when you used to have to look up a number, centuries ago, you had to open up a book, you have to know the ABCs, you have to be able to find the number, and no English. So a telephone book is used to look up a number. So a telephone book would be a klisha malach l'isser. Because, I remember we used to have them, these big fat books. We had one for every borough in New York, right? Some of them were really fat. Manhattan and Queens and Brooklyn and some, that's how you looked up a number. So those are Muktzah. But what happens if you want to use that to look up an address? Because they not only had phone numbers, they also had addresses. Well, most of the time they're used for phone numbers. So it's not a direct Isser, but it's used as an extension. In the process of Isser, that also can be called the Klisha Malach Isser. What about paper? What about paper? A notebook. An empty notebook, not a notebook with notes in it. So what do you usually use paper for? No, usually you use it to write on. That could also possibly be a klisha malach. You might think like, what? What do you use paper for? Klisha malach l'isser. So again, let's say I want to use the paper in order to put into use as a bookmark. So we'll see you're allowed to do that. But just in terms of definition, klisha malach l'isser, something that is normally used for an isser, or something that is used in the process of an isser, like a telephone book, like paper. If it has no mutter purpose at all, it's not even a minority. Paper could have a mutter purpose. A pen could even have a mutter purpose. So that's the machlokas, whether that's also called the klisha malach l'isser, or that's called Muktzah machmas gufo. Inherent Muktzah, which we will get to B'ez Hashem in the coming weeks. Hopefully, we'll be able to do the rest of the Muktzahs within 2 weeks. B'li neder. What if something is kol malach l'isser? This is the largest one, and that's why it gets its own shear. A candle. What do you call a candle? You can't use a candle for anything, or people generally don't use a candle for anything other than what it's used for. Right? A stapler, maybe people could use to hold down a napkin. Right? A pen, maybe people to use to play with. Right? There are other usages, maybe. But a candle? So that's a major machlokas opposed whether a candle is called also a klisha malach l'isser, or it's called Muktzah machmas gufo. That's a discussion in the post game. How do you do that? Right, the Shmir Shabbos talks about it than others, but that doesn't come up so much. But that's an important point. But that's in terms of the definition of a klisha malach l'isser. What is the halacha of a klisha malach l'isser? So it has kulas that no other muktzahs have, and maybe that's what should tip us off to hold and to realize that this isn't really what's called Muktzah. Look in the Gemara in Masechet Shabbos, the Klisha Malach l'isser is a separate discussion. It's not in the fourth parak of Muktzah, meaning the fourth parak of Shabbos, which talks about Muktzah. It's in the later parak Kala Kalim, which is all about the Gzeira of Tiltul Kalim. Rav Shechter likes to point out. It's not really Muktzah. He made a Gzeira, limitations on using or moving kalim, certain types of kalim, klisha malach l'isser. But it's not really muktzah in the real sense, and that is why you're allowed to move it for certain purposes. You can't move any other muktzah. Chesser and kiss, muktzah machmas gufo, muktzah machmas isser, muktzah machmas mius. All of those are usher to move, period. You can't move them at all directly. Klisha malach l'isser is the only one that you're allowed to move for one of two purposes. L'tzarech gufo or l'tzarech mikomo. L'tzarech gufo, to use it for a mutter purpose. A scissors. A scissors is a klisha malach l'isser, but I'm going to use scissors to cut chicken. So that's called l'tzarech gufo. I'm using it for itself. I'm using it for itself in order to, I'm going to use a hammer to crack open a nut. All right, so that's muktzah machmas, klisha malach l'isser, but it has l'tzarech gufo. You're allowed to use it in that way. Or l'tzarech makomo. I have no purpose for it, but I need the spot where the kli is. I left some crayons or a pen on the table, and I want to set the table. So what do? You know what I do? I pick up the pen directly and move it away. You don't need the elbow. You don't need to pick up the tablecloth. Klisha malach l'isser. If you need the spot, l'tzarech gufo, l'tzarech makomo, one can move it directly and pick it up straight. Right? Let's say if I don't need the space physically, but I need the space not to be doing what it's doing now. What am I talking about? What if there's a fan blowing on you? and you want to move it away from you because you're cold, or you want to move it towards you. A fan is a klisham l'isser. So that is mutter. That is mutter. You want to move it towards you, that's l'tzara gufo. What about away from you? Why is that mutter? So that's fine. That's kind of mikomo. I need this spot not to be blowing on me. And therefore, the Shmir Shabbos quotes in the Ha'ara that also would be allowed in this case. That's called the Klisha Malachto Le'isser L'Tzarech Mikomo. I need it not to be in this spot. Or another example. What if there's something on the table and it's bothering me? It's ruining my Onik Shabbos. I don't want it there. I want this spot empty because it's ruining my Onik Shabbos. Or let's say guests are coming and I'm going to be very embarrassed to have this on the table. That's also called L'Tzarech Gufo, L'Tzarech L'Komo. And therefore, we'll get to Shabbos lights soon. Difference between lights and fans, somebody asked. Shmir Shabbos says, Asher etzem himotzu tzakli b'makomahu mafriya oso. The fact that it's there, it's bothering me. There's a hammer on the table. I don't want this there. Or Mako. Koshem is the Shmir Shabbos says. Koshem is bayish in the Ha'ara. Any type of embarrassment or ruining your nachatz ruach, even if you wouldn't be so embarrassed on a weekday, it's only because it's Shabbos that you're embarrassed. Doesn't matter. Sarach limkomo mikri, and therefore it's sarach limkomo. Or another example, again, all in the expansion of sarach limkomo. Let's say that there's a halacha that aren't supposed to, if a husband and a wife want to be together, they're not supposed to have certain svarim in the room, and especially, let's say, tefillin. What if there are tefillin in the room? We'll get to later on. Let's say that tefillin are a klisha malach l'isser. Let's say it's called the klisha malach l'isser. So the Shmir Shabbos quotes there, removing the tefillin from the room is considered sarach makomo. I need this spot to be empty so the husband and wife can be together. That's also called sarach makomo. Not only that you want to use the spot, you want it not in the spot. In order for a Shabbos need, that also would be called sarach makomo, and it would be mutter. Any questions of our? Another example, again, all but sarach makomo. What about giving a child a rattle? How to do that? Let's say a child has a certain toy that makes noise, and I'm not allowed to shake the rattle on Shabbos. That's a noisemaker. It's a drabanan of Hashmas Kol, but I'm going to give it to the child. Says the Shmir Shabbos, that's also mutter. That's l'tzarech ufo. Mutter yehei latino tatzua laharish. Kivan shaliktan ein zeh asur laharish. Once you give it to him, b'matzah mitziyah b'Shabbos v'chul, and it continues. Okay, but anyway, any type of needing the kli in the spot, using it for its proper purpose, or needing the spot or wanting it not there, that's all isham lakto isser l'tzarkuvtzah komo is mutter. What's aser? What's aser if I'm only moving it for its protection? What's called mechama letzel. Let's say I have a fancy pen I left in my backyard. I don't want to get it. I don't want it to get ruined. I don't want the hammer outside to be ruined. Some type of klisha malach l'isser. So that would be a problem if I'm only moving it purely for the purpose of protecting it. That would be a problem. But one is allowed to be ma'arim in this case. You want to bring it in. That's your ultimate purpose. You know what? I'm going to put something in its spot. I'm going to make it into a tzarech l'komo. Okay? The whole world, remember, the whole issue is in the world of Yisurei D'Rabbanan, Xeira of Tilto Kalim. If you want to be marim and put something there, so then it's okay. Mr. Burr says that in Shin Ches Tezayin, even if your ikar kavan is mecham l'tzel. You could ask a guy to bring it in if you want. That will be mutter. Somebody has help in the house, so a guy could bring it in. This is the basic rule of Kisham Lachel Isser. It's mutter to move it l'tzarech kufa, l'tzarech l'komo, but not mecham l'tzel, not for its own protection. Yeah, Yonatan.
How far is one allowed to move it? Meaning, if I could just get the
That's the
place
next
and move
point
it
right
3 feet.
here. Next point right here. Thank you for transitioning us into the next point. Says the Shulchan Aruch in Shin Ches Siv Gimel. Once I picked up a klisha malachta le'isser and it is in my hand, I'm allowed to take it wherever I want to take it. I can put it down wherever it is. I have them. Here it is. I was just going backwards in the sheet. The Shulchan Aruch says, "Mutter lo lito mishamu lohanicho be'ezeh makom sheyirtzeh." Once a klisha malachta is in your hands, you don't have to drop it at the nearest point. I take it off the table. To move it, I can put it down wherever I want. You don't need to drop it off at the earliest point. This is based on Tosfos and Maseches Beitza. Tosfos and Maseches Beitza on Daf Gimel Amud Beis discusses a case where I'm allowed to put a kli over an egg that was laid on Yantif. The egg is Muktzah. I can put the bowl there. So Tosfos there quotes first from Rashi. Right? According to one of the Tanam Rabbi Yitzchak, you're not allowed to move anything for with tzarech hamuktzah. So how can you move a bowl to cover an egg, which is muktzah? So it says Tosfos, it must be tzarech makomo. That's why it's in your hand. What does that teach us? Umikan poskin says Tosfos. The kaimalon the davar shamalako leisser aser eno eladafka b'she eno tzarech magufo tzarech makomo. Aval tzarech gufo tzarech makomo shari im hischil talkalo shel shetzarech gufo makomo mutter laholicho afilu bechedro. You can take it, says Tosfos, you can take it to your room, you can put it wherever you want, once it's in your hand. And that's what you is in the Gemara there. That's what Tosfos says in that case. Once you have something in your hand, the heter, l'tzarech gufo, l'tzarech makomo, then you can put it wherever you want. The controversy starts with the extension of that Tosfos. Now we hold, you're allowed to move it. But what about a step further? Comes the Magen Avram, Simin Shin Chesiv Zion. Venerally, on this Ramah that says, once it's in your hand, you're allowed to put it wherever you want. Venerally, diafilu shachach v'natla biyado. Rashor l'taltalo yotzer. What if you picked something up in Isser because you forgot, because you didn't know? Not that you picked it up the heter, l'tzarech gufo, l'tzarech makomo. For some reason, you have muktzah in your hand. Maybe you forgot muktzah in your pocket. Says the Magen Avram, same thing. Once it's in your hand, go put it down wherever you want. If you have your wallet in your pocket and you are walking into your house, you don't have to drop it off the first second. You can just keep going. And he says, look what the Ramah wrote in Siman Reish Samach Vav, Sif Yud Beis. Why? What does the Ramah say there? If somebody forgot their wallet in their pocket from before Shabbos, you don't have to like drop it out the second you walk into your house. You can go into your bedroom and take it out there. Says the Magen Avram. Just like the Ramah says there, if it's in your pocket, you can keep going and drop it wherever you want to go in the house. So too, says the Magen Avram, if you pick something up at Isser, so then you are allowed to keep it and drop it only where you, if you picked it up, even if you picked it up Isser, you're allowed to put it wherever you want. Yeah, sorry. One at a time.
Is one considered to like be holding it and therefore they can just pull it out of their pocket and put it down, or do they have to like shake it out because they're not really holding it yet?
So that's considered as something in your pocket. When we talk about that type of muktzah, it's definitely better to shake it out because to handle muktzah directly is worse. We'll get to what's called piltul menatzad, meaning indirect movement of.
Rabbi, can't cover the item if it's outside.
What?
You want to cover the item instead of like bringing it inside?
If you're not holding it, you can cover it. We paskin that you're allowed to move something with tzarech cover hamuktzah. We don't paskin like that day that you can't cover the bowl. You know, you see money outside, you can put something over it. No problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah, Rabbi.
Would a phone or like some sort of electronic device have any other?
Yeah, we'll get to a phone hopefully today. Or if not, next week. Okay. Vilna Gaon argues on the Ramah. Gra argues on the Ramah. Says again, Tosfos quoted the Ramah. based on Kli Shema L'Isser, Kli Shema L'Heter. The Gra argues, and the Gra says in the Bira Gra in Reish Samach Vav, the Gra says no. Avol Nirali, or I should say, he argues on the Magen Avram, not the Ramah. Says the Gra, Nirali, as you just said, Shamas Chalas Atiltohu Beheter. If you pick something up ahead like the Torah Kufel, then you can take it wherever you want. Aval Macha'inkin Khan, the Be'isserhu, you picked it up Avera. And he quotes a line from the Gemara in Brachos, Umisha Achal Shum Varecho Nodei Fachulu. You don't know what the Gemara is talking about. You're like, what is he talking about? If you eat garlic and your breath smells, the Gemara in Brachos talks about what happens if you start eating without a bracha. What should you do? Should you make a bracha now? And the Gemara asks rhetorically, but if you eat garlic and your breath stinks, should you eat more garlic to make it stink more? Basically, if you didn't make a bracha beforehand and now you're still eating, of course you make a bracha. Why? You shouldn't make another bracha? The Gemara is saying you did one thing wrong. You have it in your hands. Now you should keep taking it in your hands? No, it says the Gemara, drop it. If you pick up Muktzah inappropriately, illegally, then you have to get rid of it as soon as you can. I don't understand, says the Gemara. The breath stinks. You have to get rid of it right away. Arguing. The only heter that you have is if you pick something up the heter. So then, can you extend it? But if you picked it up the Isser, you can't. Pick it up the Isser, you can't. And therefore, says the Gemara, it is not allowed. And then he quotes, also, look in the end of the second parak in Shabbos. And to understand the Bira Gra, you have to know all of the sources that he's quoting. The Gra says, look at the end of the second parak in Shabbos. There it talks about used to blow shofar on Erev Shabbos a number of times. People didn't have watches. You blew shofar and chatzotzros and trumpets to tell people to come in from the field. Stop working. Then they blew another one to tell people to get ready, to take care of pots, so get your pots ready. The last one they blew right before Shabbos. Shabbos, Lakas Neros, light your candles. And the Gemara says there, that right after they blew that shofar, the Rabbi who blew it drops it. He drops it right in a spot that he has near where he was blowing. Says the Gemara, what's the problem? Well, what do you mean? Why does he have to drop it? He has it in his hand already, so take it wherever he wants to go. Take it home. You have to drop it in the place where he is. Says the Gemara, no, the same point. It wasn't that he had a heter to hold this. Right before Shabbos, he had this in his hand. But now at Shabbos, boom, you have to drop it. He didn't have a heter to pick it up like the Tzarech Kufel, the Tzarech Makomo. And therefore, it says the Gemara, I argue on this extension that once you have it in your hand, do whatever you want with it. No. Only if you have it in your hand, the heter, so then you could do whatever you want with it. But the Isser, it would be not. The Magen Avram L'chora says this by all Muktzahs. Somebody just asked that. We'll have to see when we get to the more serious Muktzahs. Good. Couple of points. 1:15 is lunch. I have to finish by 1:15.
Yeah.
That true?
Yeah.
Okay, so just 4 minutes, and then maybe we'll do some of the examples next time. Mishnah Berurah does say also the heter of Kli Shemalachto le'Isser l'Tzarech Kufel l'Tzarech Makomo is across the board. Even if, let's say, there's a Kli Shemalachto le'heter available, but you want to use the Kli Shemalachto le'Isser. You want to sit on a specific chair. There are 5 chairs there. You like this chair. Are you allowed to move it there? The answer is yeah. You want this chair, so then that's a tzarech for you, and you'd be able to go on that chair. Good. Let's get to some examples. Okay, I don't want to rush through it. Let's just do one at a time, and then next week we'll also start with a couple of the examples and do some other muktzahs also. Tefillin. What are tefillin regarding laws of muktzah? Where do we put tefillin? You come back, it happens a lot. Somebody comes into shul and tefillin, halavai, we should all get to shul very soon, and somebody finds tefillin on their chair. Are you allowed to move the tefillin directly? You have to do the elbows. Are you allowed to take tefillin off one's chair? Shabbos is lavzman tefillin, we paskin. What happens if somebody wears a talis and they forgot their talis in their talis and tefillin bag? They want to take out their talis. They're going to be moving the tefillin. The Shulchan Aruch paskin is, Shabbos is lavzman tefillin. We don't wear tefillin on Shabbos. We don't wear tefillin on Yontif. This is a major machlokas. The Ramah says tefillin is a kli shemalachto leheter. The Ramah says kli shemalachto leheter. The Taz says no. Taz and the Magen Avraham both say no. Even the heter tilto tali mashe ein iser banachasan or pasak ish iser banachasan. Imkin shaper also a tilto mitam muktzah. Well, it's keep it. Says the Ramah kan later tilto v'tzarachi and the Taz, the Magen Avraham both argue and they assume that tefillin are a kli shemalachto leiser. But either way, kli shemalachto leiser and be moved. L'tzarach gufa l'tzarach b'koma. Let's say you're trying to put the tefillin back where they're supposed to go. Right, michama l'tzeil for its own protection. That's the machlokas. But ishamalak l'itzer obviously be l'tzarach gufa l'tzarach b'komo. Folks can wonder though, why isn't it even worse? Why isn't it with chisar and kiss? We're gonna get to next week. Very fancy, valuable items are in a very stringent category of muktzah. Chisar and kiss. So why aren't tefillin like that? Right? If we had to run into our house and we had 10 seconds to get our valuables, what would we get out of the house? Tefillin would be one of them. Why isn't tefillin the Tosefes Shabbos, the classic Achronim, 1800s? You know why aren't tefillin? Why isn't it a chesron kiss? So Akhlomar, he says, severely to keep the damiksas l'svarim v'kisvei hakodesh. Well, it's similar to a sefer. Remember in the olden days, we used to learn from klafim. In Cain, kemo desvarim adifi mishar kelim shamalach leheter. Just like books and svarim are better than any other kli shamalach leheter. Right, it's not a kli at all, really. It's totally mutter. So tefillin also is better than other chesron kisses, and therefore it can be moved. Let's start gufa. Let's start makomo. Wow. So he says it has a special letter. The Shmir Shabbos has a big footnote where he talks about certain types of what the heterim are. Either way, it's not by the poskim. It's not considered a chesron kiss, and therefore one would be able to move it off of one's chair. What if you come in and tefillin are on the ground? How to pick that up? How to pick them up? The answer is that l'tzarach gufo? Is that because it's bothering me that it's on the floor? So maybe like we said before, tzarach l'tomo, you want the spot, you don't want the tefillin on the floor, or you could pick it up. If you would held it, chesron kiss, then it would be more of a serious issue. That's in terms of tefillin. What about pots and pans? Sometimes on Shabbos, on Friday, let's say you wash things on Friday afternoon, and on Shabbos they're drying in the drain. You want to clean out the drain, get more stuff, or let's say you just want to put it away. So what do you consider a pot or a pan? So it's interesting. Some poskim, the Shmir Shabbos is machalik between a pot and a pan. A pan like frying pan has no use on Shabbos. Whoever uses a pan on Shabbos. A pot sometimes is used for storage. You put stuff in a pot in the fridge. So a pot l'chora is a kli shemalachto leheter. There's no limitations. Pans l'chora are kli shemalachto leiser. That's what the Shmir Shabbos says in Oz Tezvav. Kli shemalachto lebishol. The aim regil mishtamish bo gam lishmar bo. And you never use it to put food in. Machavas or shpod or a spit. It's a kli shemalachto leiser. And you can't move it unless it's a sort of kuva or makoma. But if it's a kli that's also used for storage, any type of pot, then that would be a kli shemalachto leheter, and it would be able to be moved totally. Again, there's a lot more regarding kli shemalachto leheter. This is the biggest one, the most common muktzah to talk about. We're going to talk about the tin foil and cars and electrical items. We'll talk. Next week, somebody asked the question, is there a difference between fans and lights in terms of moving them on Shabbos? Yes, according to another post game. So we'll get to that by the Shem next week, and then we'll get into Chesron Kiss and the other muktzahs as well.